There are serious talks about replacing Liz Truss and Kwasi Kwarteng, which may well explain why Kwasi Kwarteng has rushed back to London before the IMF meetings have finished. But Nadine Dorries, in a last-ditch attempt to save Liz Truss's premiership, which she had criticised herself, there'd been no doubt about that, Nadine Dorries has pulled a very interesting card. She's basically said anybody who criticises Liz Truss is a misogynist. Let me read you what she's written on Twitter. And it's invidious. Those absurdly called grandee MPs, brackets, men, agitating to remove Liz Truss are all Sunak supporters. They agitated to remove Boris Johnson, and now they will continue plotting until they get their way. It's a plot not to remove a PM, but to overturn democracy. Hashtag back Liz. It's invidious because it's a package of so many things. As with so much of Nadine Dorries, it's ill thought, but it could well be very effective in its slapdash approach. Now, the misogynist card is one that's played quite a lot in government by high-flying women, people like Priti Patel. I'm sure that's one way that she managed to duck being booted out when accused and, allegedly found guilty of bullying. It hasn't happened in the Labour Party. People accused of being bullies, men or women, have the whip removed instantly. That's how it should be. And this idea that if you attack a senior politician simply because she is a woman, you are a misogynist, is in cloud cuckoo land. I don't hear Mrs. Thatcher being ridiculed or attacked because she was a woman. The BBC doesn't attack her because she was a woman, but because Mrs. Thatcher presided over policies which were very upsetting for many people in the country. Nobody is attacking Mrs. Thatcher because she was a woman. Indeed, she is applauded for being the first woman Prime Minister, for breaking the glass ceiling. If you're to believe the Crown, she was awarded an Order of Merit, partly because she was the first woman to become Prime Minister. Now, so therefore, what has gender got to do with it? And I enter very, very dark territory. I don't believe we are defined by gender. We may well be constrained by gender, but gender is not what defines us. What defines us is our thoughts and our actions. And gender is part of the background to that, but that's not what defines us. And particularly when we're looking at the people in power over us, it's not their gender which is important. In the case of Kwasi Kwarteng, it's the package that he's presented that has caused so much damage. It's not his gender. It's not Liz Truss's gender, which impels us to want her to resign. It's the fact that she is incompetent. In the same way, Nadine Dorries, it's not her gender which makes me so contemptuous of her year as the Secretary of State for Digital Culture, Media and Sport. It was her incompetence and her failure to achieve anything. Can anybody say that that any laws, that anything was done during that year? No, they can't, because she, like Liz Truss, doesn't do detail. She doesn't seem to read letters. She doesn't seem to be interested in anything other than supporting, quote, as Liz Truss said, my friend Boris, her friends. Her friends, her political friendship, her political ladder climbing is more important to Nadine Dorries and possibly to Liz Truss than the details of policy that need to be pursued. She is elected to do things, not to be. Not to be. And so her gender is not at the top of the list. I salute women who get to the top of whatever profession they want to get to. I salute them and encourage them, but they're not defined by their gender. They have been constrained perhaps a little by their gender, and for so many years this has been a man's world. It shouldn't be. We shouldn't be constrained by gender, but we equally cannot afford to be confined by it or defined by it. Gender should be one of those things to which we are broadly indifferent. We should judge people on their actions, their ideas, and the things people say.